It's interesting. I've heard this before. Not everybody handles success well as a pro athlete. Generally, athletes handle failure the same way. They work harder, they put their head down, they work out long. But success is funny. And so I saw that Cleveland was almost a 13-point favorite this week at home, and that's the biggest line for the franchise in 21 years. And I thought, oh, boy, now come expectations. Big favorite. You're going to crush them. Go back to your Cincinnati days. Bad franchise, not a lot of success. Then you start winning a little bit. Is it hard for non-winners who become winners and favorites? Did you see certain players that just didn't handle success well or expectations well?
You know what's crazy, Colin, is when you're playing, everybody thinks they're going to be good until week 1 or 2, you get your butts kicked. You're like, oh, my God, is it going to be like this all year? The Cleveland Browns, I guarantee they feel really confident in themselves because the game isn't won or lost on one play. But if that punter doesn't drop the ball, and he actually, when he dropped it, could have actually picked it up and punted it, he tried to run with it, they probably feel they beat the Chiefs. And so confidence, albeit whether it's fake or not, whether it's too much or it isn't, they feel good about where they are because if you look at their team, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they feel good? You go top to bottom, they don't have weaknesses. When I played and we're in Cincinnati, we felt like we could beat anybody in 05, 06, 07. But the thing is, if the Browns don't win this game, they're going to start to second guess themselves and say, are we as good as we thought we were? And so they need to win this game, which I believe they will handily.
So it was the one Blazing 5 bet I didn't make. I would have taken Cincinnati and Joe Burrow to go into Chicago with 1.5 and win, but I didn't take it. It didn't make it. I have concerns about their defense. But Joe Burrow, and you know him well, and you've seen him train, and we heard all these reports about he was a little gun shy. We heard all these reports about Jamar Chase couldn't catch the ball. And I watched Joe Burrow last week, and I got to tell you, I didn't see any signs of it. He got hit a lot. I didn't see any signs of it. By the way, Jamar Chase, despite all the reports, I didn't see all the drops. I thought that was an incredibly encouraging win. I think the Vikings are well coached. I think they have some firepower. I think that's a really impressive win for Cincinnati. Your takeaway on Burrow, Jamar Chase, and what you saw.
I had the Bengals last week against the Vikings, and I actually have them again this week against the Bears. The Bengals, Joe just has this confidence about him, man. It's almost crazy. It's hard to explain. He was sacked 5 times. And so the nervousness of his knee, you get sacked, you're kind of nervous, you get up, oh, it's fine. You get sacked again, oh, it happened 5 times. Joe's going to move away from thinking about it very, very soon. Defensively, the Bengals can be whatever they are. The Bears don't scare you. Their offense doesn't scare you. Andy Dalton wouldn't throw the ball down the field. So when Justin Field does enter the game, that's what you expect. Andy Dalton's going to be fired up. He may be too fired up. He may try to force passes and plays that aren't there because obviously the Bengals drafted him. He had a ton of success there. Jamar Chase, and I said it, I'm not concerned about the drops. He's going to drop balls throughout the course of the season. We all do. He was the first receiver picked for a reason. I'm sure he's feeling very good about himself. He said he wanted to put Patrick Peterson on his highlight tape. I don't know if he did that, but he was fine. And I like the Bengals to beat the Bears. Like the Bears, that offense scares you?
It's interesting. Giants, Washington, kind of a mess. These are not great teams, obviously, but this is what struck me, is that Washington, with a defensive coach, was willing to let Taylor Heineke throw it 46 times. I mean, you know how defensive coaches are. Marvin Lewis, you had one. Pete Carroll. They want to run the ball and win with defense. We got a kid in his 3rd career start, and they almost threw it 50 times. The Giants keep telling me they love Daniel Jones, but on that drive late, they couldn't run the football the whole game. Saquon had one run. And I looked at that kind of conservative play calling. Maybe it's just Jason Garrett. That's his reputation. But when I watch the Giants, they say they love Daniel Jones, but I don't necessarily see they trust him. Or am I wrong? Do you think they trust Daniel Jones with the play calling and what you saw last night?
This is what I will say. Answer the question, no. You need to see what you have in Daniel Jones. And so you could have drafted a quarterback this year. You didn't. You need to see if he's that quarterback of the future. I will say this, though. Last night watching that game, the first 15 plays that Jason Garrett scripted, I was like, oh, Jason Garrett, he on his thing today. Like, he's doing a hell of a job with these first 15 scripted. It was after that where it was just like, come on, Jason. Come on, Coach Garrett. Like, where's the creativity? It was one of those things where you're not going to be able to run the ball that effectively on Washington. That defensive line and all those guys they have up front, challenge them down the field. And Joe Judge said it, and I remember this. I remember him and Adam Gase because of the bug eyes. Joe Judge said, we will be fundamentally sound. We will not beat ourselves. Well, you beat yourself last night.
Yeah.
You did exactly what you said you wouldn't do at your introductory news conference when you got the job. They played to not lose that game. They felt they were in field goal range. We're going to play it safe. We're just going to run, and kick this field goal, and our defense is going to stop them. It didn't happen, but you need to put the ball in Daniel Jones. The season's over. 0-2, you're not making the playoffs. It is what it is. See what you have in Daniel Jones moving forward.
I'm not surprised at all. I trust your judgment. I thought Justin Herbert. Joy and I had said it. We saw him at the Rose Bowl, and we're like, and it was funny because I remember talking to Tom Telesco, the GM of the Chargers, and he liked him a lot, but he wanted to go see him live, so he went to the Rose Bowl, and he said at halftime, it's like, all right, that's our guy. We like him because you got to see guys live. And he does jump out. You said this when you see him on a practice field or a game live. He's even more impressive. But I'll tell you something. What really jumped out to me last week, and this is kind of a veteran thing, he may throw they play the Cowboys this week. He may throw the best back shoulder throw in this league outside of Aaron Rodgers. I am just so surprised how his game looks so old. And maybe it's because he started so many games at Oregon. But, I mean, your first impressions of him, I remember it was the size. You kept saying his calves. He's big. He's huge. What do you make of his growth, his development as he hosts the Cowboys this weekend?
I'm not surprised. His growth has been what I thought. And you got to understand, when Justin was out there on the field with us, there were also a lot of other quarterbacks on the field with us that were drafted fairly high that same year. And he stood out amongst other guys that were drafted very high. And so I knew right away, I'm like, this dude, and I was talking to John Beck about it, like, this dude is going to be special. And because I understand the game of football. I know what I was looking at. And I'm not surprised. He's a big kid with a big arm, and he's a really good athlete. He's not just a big guy that's stationary. Like, he can get out and run. He's a talented athlete, not just a football player, but he's quiet, but he's a leader. It's just really the fact that he started and played so many games at Oregon. I don't know if people know this, but he was a tutor because he's a very smart dude. So he was a tutor in college. So to be able to tutor just regular students in college, you can relate to everyone. He wasn't that, oh, I'm the starting quarterback in Oregon. I'm not doing this. People person, and the way he's playing is exactly how I thought he would.
All right. Well, I'll just ask you. I will not lead you in any direction because I am an honesty broker. This show is journalism, so I'm just going to lay it out there. The reigning MVP was the worst quarterback in the league in week 1. He had the noisiest offseason. What did you make of the Packers opening week? What did you make of it?
I was shocked. I was shocked. And the football guys, they have a way of humbling you and telling you, this is what you do, stick to what you do, shut your mouth, go play football, else we'll do it again. And I believe he got the message. I watched that game and I was just like, wow. I mean, you would have thought Jameis Winston was Aaron Rodgers and vice versa. And so it was shocking to say the least, but I will say I do believe Green Bay will bounce back. They're too talented, and Aaron Rodgers is too talented of a quarterback not to.
TJ Houshmandzadeh on a Friday. Great seeing you, Zoe. You know, you're always well-dressed for this show. You're such a professional, just like you were as an athlete. Look at you. You look like you're going to a board meeting or something. Good seeing you, buddy.
I appreciate it. You guys take care.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.